Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Ryan Ennis. Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good, man. It's Friday, kind of a dreary day here in the Northeast. Just kind of, a lazy day.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can't complain with that. Yeah, it's
No,
kind of like
'cause
that here.
yeah, considering it's like 65 out, I can really get used to that.
Yeah. This is my type of weather for sure.
Yeah, because we're getting old, man. When it's either too cold or too hot, our body feels it.
I like the cold. The cold doesn't bother my shoulder, believe it or not. I feel better in the cold.
That's right, you told me.
Yeah, all my swelling goes away in the cold. So I mean, I'd much rather. I mean, plus I'm more used to the cold.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fair.
I'm a lot more used to the cold. So yeah, more or less. Yeah, I'm just a lot more used to the cold.
I'm excited because It Chapter 2 came out today. Well, midnight.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to be up. Let me see if it's already been uploaded.
I was going to
Um,
go in the theater to see it, and then I remembered that I don't like people that much.
oh, I may have to go see it in the theater if it doesn't come up here um, pretty soon.
Because if I do go see it, I'm going to go see it like on a weekday at like noon.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't even imagine you have that many people by you to begin with. So
Yeah, no, I'm just annoyed by like people in theaters anymore.
okay.
That's just a thing with me. You know what I mean?
I like going to the movies, so I mean,
God, I couldn't tell you the last time I went.
I like going with my wife. You know, I mean, like I like being in the theater for movies, but I can understand what you're saying, but they're not gonna let other people dictate. You know, if I'm gonna go watch a movie in the theater, uh, I'll just tell people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, you?
I've been thrown out of theaters for telling people shut the fuck up. So I mean,
Yeah, that's my like
I
big
got shit.
bugaboo. Like when I would go to see like horror movies, you'll have like the people like look out, or you know what I
I've
mean?
never had, yeah, just had people like chat, just like talk, like shut the fuck up. You're in a movie theater. Nobody here want to fucking hear you. Shut the fuck up.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, before we get rolling, don't forget to check out our social media stuff. You can find it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at ASC Pods. We might as well start with All Out since that's what, everybody's been talking about over the last week.
Oh yeah. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, 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 really good. So, um, yeah. I don't know what else to say. I thought it was really good. It was one of the best shows that I've seen.
I thought it was cool to see Mercedes Martinez in the Women's Battle Royal.
Yeah, I popped for that. Out of all the people who aren't signed, she's the one that I'd like to see get a contract because I think like she's the definition of like a great women's wrestler,
Oh, 100%.
like the prototype of what you're gonna want for a women's wrestler.
And she's basically wrestled everywhere.
Yeah, I will say though, as much as I usually like these, I thought this match was kind of fucking useless.
Oh, the Rumble?
Yeah, I mean it's like I don't know if they intentionally didn't call Teal Piper being eliminated because I don't know if you know the drama surrounding her.
I do not. Would you care to elaborate?
Once they announced her, like keep in mind, she's never had a match before. We've discussed this. So they announced her, and then she went and signed with Women of Wrestling.
I do know that.
After, like, AEW was like, here, we'll allow you to have your debut on our show. That's why, if you go back and watch, she's in the ring for about 10 seconds before she's thrown out.
Yeah, she like did a thumb to the eye, if I remember, and then a sleeper hold, and that was it.
Yeah, then she got thrown through the ropes. Then, just as they mentioned, she did not go over the top rope. She had climbed back in, and I forget who dumped her over. It may have been Awesome Kong.
I think you're right.
But it happened so quickly that the people that I was watching with in the chat were all like, Teal Piper's going to win. She hasn't been eliminated. Like, everybody seemed to miss that elimination. And the only reason why I saw it was because she looked rather dumpy in the ring.
She did.
Like, she didn't look like a wrestler. She looked like a fan who put on
a singlet.
Like, yeah, and I just seen her get dumped over the rope on the right side, and there was no call by any of the announcers about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, no knock to her. She moved very awkwardly.
Jazz was also highly not impressive. Unimpressive.
She looked weird, bald-headed.
That didn't bother me so much. She just, like, I don't know if she just looked her age or what. It was just like, oh, that wasn't good.
I know.
Like, I was so hyped for Jazz. I don't know if you remember how hyped I was last week. And they've had that cool spot with Nyla and Kong and Jazz. I forget who the fourth person in that was. Oh, ODB. Okay, I popped for ODB too.
Yeah, she's really cool.
I wish they would have done more with those four, though. Like, I think that had the potential to be something memorable, and it really wasn't.
To be honest with you, and I'm not trying to, crap all over, the whole thing was not really memorable.
Yeah, apparently it led to a real fight in the back between B. Priestley and Sadie Gibbs.
Oh, that's because I think B. Priestley hit her with a very stiff kick to the face.
Well, first she no-sold a power slam.
That's what it was.
And then after that, the elimination looked like because she threw her over, and then she kicked her off when Sadie was doing the. I don't know if it was supposed to be a skin the cat or something along those lines. And yeah, that looked pretty fucking brutal.
That's the second time with B that she's had some issues.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the first one was issues or if it was just a wayward kick, and I don't know what the I don't know if she has a history of hurting people or if that was just okay. Well, you wrestle, it happens.
Yeah.
The no selling the move that has really nothing to do with wrestling. That. I don't know if there's a personal animosity between the two of them or what, but because all those women everywhere, they all have a history outside of AEW, whether it be in Japan or whether it be in other indie promotions or whether it be in England, in their case, Australia.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that you just reminded me. The other person I thought was cool to see was Tenille Dashwood.
Yeah. She's got a weird fucking a deal with Impact. I've heard it's a date by date basis kind of thing, so I don't know if they were even in the position to tell her no.
Almost like a pay per appearance kind of deal.
Yeah, and seeing that Impact right now is going through a lot of shit. Apparently a lot of people aren't getting paid. And they're up to a year behind with some people's royalties.
My God.
Yeah, and it's funny because I see on Reddit some guy is convinced that KM is the one leaking things to the dirt sheets. He is Killer Cross's manager and Scarlett Bordeaux's booking agent, and he's the reason why Killer Cross is, because right now they're in kind of dead contract negotiations. Cross wants a hell of a lot more than Impact's willing to pay, and this one fucking mouth-breathing idiot is convinced that Kevin's behind it all.
That's funny.
To which Kevin responded on Twitter, "I've never needed to be anonymous,"
Isn't that
which is the truth. Which is, yeah, I mean, if anybody knows Kevin, Kevin will be like, I'm saying fuck you. My name is Kevin Matthews. Fuck you. From
Yeah,
Kevin
he
Matthews.
doesn't need to hide behind anything.
No, he'll go right on his fucking Twitter account and be like, "This is from Kevin Matthews at kevinmatthews.Kevin Matthews." You know, he don't give a fuck. So like, I just laughed.
I kind of figured Nyla Rose was going to win. I actually hoped Mercedes would because I thought that would have been something different.
I didn't think there was a chance for anybody other than somebody who's been featured because I don't even think she's contracted. So why would she win?
Good point.
I don't think she's contracted with them. I mean, I think she was just like half of these other people that they were like, we need 21 women to fill.
It very well could be true.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard them mention anything else about her before or after. So, I mean, like, if you're going to have somebody go into the first title match, it should be the woman that really has been on every show.
Absolutely.
Oh, Kylie Ray is gone from the company.
She officially retired.
Did she?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because apparently she went up to Tony Khan and asked for the release, and Tony Khan was like, okay, are you good? She said, yeah. And they said, okay. And that's how...
Apparently, I don't know how, excuse me, true it is, she has, like, some kind of issues with her spine.
That's Kylie Ray. Smiley
Yeah.
Kylie. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate, but I mean, it's so long as she's addressing her health issues, awesome. You know, the best to her.
Yeah, it was just shocking.
Yeah, 'cause she's fairly young, but she's smart of not trying to work through it.
Definitely. What did you think of Private Party and Jack Evans and Angelico?
Truthfully, I was actually trying to get last minute shit done during this, so I saw bits and pieces. But by all accounts, this was one of the better matches on the card. So, I like both groups of people. What I saw was really cool. I missed the ending, which I heard was amazing. I heard it was a pretty cool ending. So, I think all four of them have a really bright future in AEW.
Definitely, I agree. I've seen Private Party since they were wrestling in like training dojos like 3 years ago. They're insanely talented.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the pre-show for what it was worth. I mean, I thought it was good that it's stuff on the pre-show that actually matters. With the women's battle royal, and then like these are the guys who are facing the Bucks in the first round, so it was good to have them on.
I agree with you.
So
I'm trying to remember who opened the show. I'm drawing a blank.
SoCal Uncensored versus
That's-
Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt.
Thank you.
I thought this was like a fantastic, absolutely fantastic match.
And my God, is Luchasaurus over?
Yeah, and it's not just him. I think I think a lot of it has to do with his. I mean, like, yes, he's over. I mean, he is a fucking wrestling dinosaur. But I think it helps a lot him and Jungle Boy, all those combination moves that they do.
And they look really like flawless doing it.
Yeah, even the one with Marco Stunt where there was like one to the next to the next. Like there was at one point where I think they threw Marco Stunt.
Yeah, like a belly to belly, and he landed on. It might have been Daniels, like his head, like got him in a headlock, and then Jungle Boy spun him around, and he did like a spinning DDT.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I like these over-the-top kind of moves that you've never really seen anywhere else. So, yeah, I thought this match was, 4 out of 5. I mean, it was really good. It was a great way to get it started. There's some really cool spots. Fucking Luchasaurus just coming kicking the shit out of everybody.
And then when he did the dive outside, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's the one where my buddy who had never really seen, like, he had heard about AEW, but he was just like, yo, when that green motherfucker came out, I was like, what is this? And he's like, now I think I'm his biggest fan. He's just like, this is just good wrestling. He's like, I'm sitting here with my mouth open, forgetting what it's like to feel this way.
Yeah, because you don't get that very often anymore.
Mm-mm.
But I agree,
Not at all.
It was a good way to start the show hot.
Yeah, and I think it only got better with the next match, which in a lot of ways was one of my favorites of the night, even though it was like the hardcore match. The Cracker Barrel Clash.
Oh, that was like a car wreck.
Bro, I will say fucking Jimmy Havoc's paper routine drives me crazy. I can't stand it.
Oh, dude, that's the one thing that makes me squeamish.
Yeah. And again, it's my buddy and I were watching that, and he's just like, this is a train wreck. Like this, he's like, that guy's gonna die. Talking about Darby Allin.
I kind of wonder that after that crazy fucking spot he did with the barrel.
Cracker Barrel. Yeah, bro. It's like, I know I had a couple friends who hadn't watched, so the next day I found myself like sending like videos to people, and that match alone had, I want to say, 10 videos I sent out. The fucking thumbtack spot. I will say the highlight of my night was in that match, is because it was something I had never in my life seen, and that was when Jimmy Havoc did the monkey flip on Janela, who was sitting in the chair, and then Janela landed in the chair.
Yeah, and then he like props his feet up like, yeah, motherfucker.
And then started waving his fingers. Yeah, that I popped it. Like, that was such a stupid thing out of the entire night. But that was my favorite point. Like, that popped me biggest out of anything else.
I think it was because of his facial reaction.
It was the fact he landed it. Like that added to it afterwards, but it was like the fact that they came up with that spot and then he landed it.
Yeah,
like,
I told I was talking to Big Joe, the guy that I interviewed over in the UK, about what Jimmy Havoc did, where they did this spot with the tacks in his mouth and then they duct taped it closed. I was like, I've never seen that before.
What did Joe say?
He was just like, wow, that's a pretty cool spot.
At first, I didn't think there was really anything in his mouth. I thought it was a good visual, and I'm like, that looks really cool. Until when he took the tape off and you see him spit it out. And I was like, yo, he legit had thumbtacks in his mouth the entire time. Like, when he took that fucking bump where Darby jumped off the fucking top onto him when he was still taped to the chair. Like, that was when I was like, that's nuts. Because it's cool. Like, it's definitely a visual way to do that. But the fact that he literally still had it in his mouth kind of was just like, wow, that's, God forbid something would have went wrong.
Yeah, and then he, spits them out and throws them in Janela's face.
I'm more okay with that than the idea of...
Yeah, I know.
Him being sat down, somebody pouring it in. Like, all one needs to do is just go right down your throat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy. People choke on things all the time. Especially if you're going to have a bump and someone's going to land on you, chances are you're going to take a deep breath in.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, that shit's crazy. It just, I could do without spots like that, only because it has the chance of causing actual injury. Like,
no, I totally get it. but I think that was like how do I want to, like, I called it a car crash, but it's like, or people, it's like, okay, well, what else are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like the old hardcore matches back in the day for WWF at the time.
Yeah, see, like, this is what I like about AEW. For me, that match was approaching a little too much, especially with Darby Allin. Like, that bump with him on the stairs just legitimately made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, the coffin drop. Phew.
Yeah, onto the stairs. Like, that one legitimately made me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know how much more of this I want to watch. Like, like, someone's really gonna get hurt. Like, it was a cool spot. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I didn't want to see him continue to do things like that.
I understand. I wonder, it probably didn't, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. I wonder if the barrel made the bump a little less rough.
Oh, probably, but the speed at which he went through that barrel, like, it definitely made it easier than if he just coffin dropped onto stairs, but I don't know how much. It may have just been enough that he landed on wood instead of landing on metal. I don't know if the impact was any less.
Oh,
but
one other spot that I wanted to bring up, and then we'll move on, that another one I've never seen before was Darby Allin using his skateboard and, like, basically skateboarding on the back of Janela.
Yeah, like, to finish my point, what I like about AEW is that for you like more deathmatch stuff. You could watch that and be like, wow, that was really cool. And then I believe the next match was, 2 matches later, you had a completely different style of match, which was Cody and Shawn Spears, which I didn't really like, and we'll get to it. But that was as, AWA, Mid-South as you're going to get. Like, that was old school wrestling, old school storytelling, kind of wrestling, compared to the hardcore, or compared to, like, the crazy tag team in the beginning, or the vast difference of all of those and Pac and Omega,
which we're going to get into. I actually thought that match was very good.
I really enjoyed that match. I wasn't shocked with the ending, because, like we said, I think, you can't bring Pac in like this and then have him lose, especially when he's a heel.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that if you look at AEW's tweets and not tweets, they had, like, Facebook things like Kenny Omega's 1-2, like, can he get his record to 2-1, against John Moxley. Like, they're really beginning to factor in how important records could be.
And I like that.
I just don't want them to go too far with it. Because Tony Khan started talking about how they have, like, single records, tag records, trio records. He was talking about match-type records. And I think after a while, you can get into way too many analytics. I mean, are you going to have, like, 6-man ladder matches on a Tuesday, in the month of June? I mean, like...
I understand.
Analytics are cool to an extent. But I want to see how they're able to do this long term. Because imagine trying to, like, plan out an NFL season, who's going to win, who's going to lose, and stuff like that. Like, and do that every year, like, how overwhelming that would be.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it's like, they don't have as big of a roster as WWE, but, it's going to get very hard, I think, very quickly, making those wins and losses count. But I think what they're going to be smart and do is they're not going to have you're not going to have somebody have 12 pay-per-view matches a year.
No, they seem to be spacing in and out where you're going to get, I think, 4 to 5 pay-per-views a year.
Well, but that's my point. You're not going to have every wrestler isn't going to be on every pay-per-view every year. So, exactly. I mean, it's instead of, like, 52 appearances a year, say, for, like, TV, maybe they're on TV 40 of those, because they have to rotate other people, which Tony Khan already said that they plan on doing, which I'm cool with, like NXT. Sometimes you don't see the NXT champion for 3 weeks.
And I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, because in those other weeks, they're talking about the women's title, they're talking about the tag title, they're talking about the mid-card title, in a manner in which it makes it seem important that we can devote this week's show around this title.
100%. You mentioned about Cody and Shawn Spears. That was one of the 2 matches I didn't care for.
Was the other one the main event?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you and I are in the same boat. The other one, we'll get to the other one. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with Cody going over.
That, and what I was going to say is, I thought the beginning of the match was very good. Like, they started out hot, and then it kind of just was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it was as good as it could have been. I I think they wanted too much of an old school match. I did kind of pop for Arn coming out.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Especially since Tully is, they were boys. Like, that's the Four Horsemen right there.
I just, my opinion was I thought Cody going over was a bad decision.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I agree. I don't think Cody should have gone over.
Not to cut you off, the only reason I say that is because I think Shawn Spears needed a win more than Cody did, because you can kind of propel him and make him a bigger deal from that. And now that he lost, it's like, well, where do you go with him now?
Yeah, I did like the fact that they kind of, like, I want to see him and MJF get into something. Him beat MJF, which eventually turns into the MJF heel turn. I did like that very brief tease when MJF stood up behind Cody with the chair in his hands.
Yeah, that's coming.
But, yeah, I mean, like, he's so fucking good, MJF. Like, it both looked innocuous and menacing at the same time. Like, it looked very foreboding, like this is gonna happen. But it was such a cool shot, because it's like, this is definite foreshadowing.
And there's one small other thing I wanted to point out I didn't like about Cody and that, and I know some people probably say I'm nitpicking about this.
The dog?
Yes.
Yeah. When Tony Khan says it's never going to happen again and he was upset, it's not nitpicking.
Because I saw that dog when they started bringing him out and everything's going off. You saw him like freak out.
Yeah, Tony specifically said those pyros weren't supposed to go off, and he doesn't know who authorized it, and he has a feeling that it was Cody. He said those booms were not supposed to go off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because later on in the night they had the horse too, and he said no, we made sure that that horse was corralled before any of the explosions went off. Like, that horse was safe in the back and in its corral, or like the fucking
otherwise
stable.
It would have panicked.
Yeah, because that was the next thing somebody brought up. It's like, you have the dog and now you have the horse, and that could look really bad for him. And apparently he's like a big animal person, and he said he specifically brought that up. I don't think somebody else did. I think he specifically said one of the points of the show he didn't like was what happened with the dog. That he said he could see how upset the dog was, and going forward, he said he likes having them there, but going forward they're going to have discussions about things. Apparently Brandy is very against the dog being involved, and it's Cody who is pushing hard for it.
Oh, jeez.
Because apparently this had been brought up before, and that dog was terrified even without the explosions.
You could see it.
Yeah, and the tail between the legs is a fucking sign.
Yeah, because my first thought was they should have, with all the people that came down with him, they should have, immediately saw how the dog was reacting and just took it to the back.
The dog wasn't going to be the one standing by the fucking ringside. There was no reason to have the fucking dog there, period. And that dog was not part of the storyline. They wanted to have the dog in a Star Trek outfit. And, but that dog wasn't going to be, the one person Cody got to have by the ring.
Exactly.
So, there was absolutely no reason to do that other than to satiate his ego, which...
Yeah, that really turned me off.
Yeah, because that's a fucking animal. They just has no idea what's going on, and people are just fucking screaming. It's that's an animal. The argument that Tony Khan started to say was they are trying to get the training for it to be a working dog. Because if you looked at what he was wearing, I'm pretty sure it said a working dog or a therapy dog.
Service animal.
Service animal, yeah. So in some ways, service animals need to be able to tolerate shit like that. Police dogs need to be able to tolerate, loud sounds and people and distractions. I don't know where Pharaoh is on that end of the spectrum.
Well, and I was going to say, most people don't realize that takes years of intensive training for an animal to be able to do that.
Yeah, if it's not started at a very young age, it could actually be very difficult because it's something like if you start them at a young age, it becomes something that's very intrinsic. It becomes part of what the animal is. It's kind of like that whole if you teach a new dog, I mean an old dog new trick, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but it's more like if you look at how quickly kids can pick up multiple languages,
Yes.
it's because their brain is still developing. So any information that's going in there, it's like it's going in there as the brain is developing. It's just like that for animals.
I got you. Sorry for going off on a tangent about that, but that really bothered me.
No, bro, that's that may not be wrestling specific, but that's relevant. Like this is part of the image of a new company that is very important. Oh, speaking about images of new companies, how did we not even talk about this? Chris Jericho and his title. Okay, now for the people who think it's a work, there's police reports and there's pictures of the Tallahassee police with it. Unless Tony Khan paid off Tallahassee police to make this the greatest work of all time, it's a very sad, unfortunate reality. But do you want to explain what the story is? And yeah, I'll see if I can add anything on top of it.
Yeah, basically, from what I understand, Chris Jericho was kind of inebriated when he went to go pick up his luggage at the airport and grabbed the wrong luggage at baggage claim. And when he got to Longhorn I think it was Longhorn Steakhouse in his limo, he realized that he grabbed the wrong bag, and when he went back to get it, the title was gone.
All right. He had the title on him. Like, that was in a separate bag. When he was at the airport, he arrived at the Platinum Kings Club or whatever it was. He got a limo. He picked up the wrong luggage, which is 100% truthful, but he had already put the title in the car in a separate bag. Now, at some point, he realized that he had the wrong luggage and sent the limo driver back to the airport with the title belt and the wrong luggage. When the guy came back, he had the right luggage and no title belt.
Oh, okay.
So apparently somebody turned it into the Tallahassee police and claimed that they found it on the side of a road somewhere. Originally, people had said that the title was worth $100,000. It was valued at $35,000, which is still
a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, but nowhere near what you would think a title that looks like that costs. That's how you know most of that's not gold. That's just very shiny metal.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I do like the fact that they're turning it into something where fucking typical fans think it's a work.
Like, I think that's cool.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's them I think that's them being very savvy, knowing what knowing that their fan base is a internet fan base, a social media fan base. I also wonder if they had gotten word that the Tallahassee police had the belt before they had Jericho release that video.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Didn't that start, though, when he won the title, when he was in the back?
Yes.
Okay. But, yeah, I don't think they would have put that promo out had they not... Because I don't know at what point AEW gets told, we have your title back in our possession. Because he had the title less than 24 hours after that post went up. Because I don't know if you saw it, with the police officer holding up the belt, and then that post was apparently deleted after AEW posted about it. So I don't know if AEW got the call, hey, we got your belt. Okay, Chris, this is what we want you to do. And in that time, they may have wanted to continue it going, but the cops were like, here's the title, we have it! So now it's more like, Jericho's like, now I have my title again. And I know he's been touring. I know he was in Utah and Colorado, so it's not like he's just chilling in Florida. So somehow it was enough time for them to get him the belt. You know what I mean? So it's not like it was just instantly found.
Well, that's awesome.
So I think it's brilliant that they turned it into a storyline. I wonder where it's going to go from here.
I wanted to Excuse me, my allergies are kicking up. Run through these last couple matches here real quick on All
Yeah.
Out. What did you think of Orange Cassidy debuting with the Best Friends?
I'm sorry. That may have been my favorite moment of the night when he did the fucking dive with his hands in his pockets and then
Dude,
he rose back
I
into
love
the ring.
that gimmick.
So do I. I mean, it's like, and I love the people who fucking hate that gimmick because the people who hate it fucking despise it. It's comedy wrestling, bro.
Yeah.
Wrestling is funny in and of itself. It's guys in spandex pretending to fight. You know, what I mean, it's just because there's somebody who does it with no effort or lazily doesn't make it worse.
I'll tell you this. Did you see his Orange Cassidy's interview after All Out?
No, I did not.
I was crying laughing.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch it because that's something I know I'm gonna enjoy.
Because, like, they were asking him all these questions.
Yeah, don't tell me. I'm gonna go and watch it. I want to be surprised. I didn't know that was the thing. Otherwise, I would have watched it.
Yeah, it was only like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Yeah, I'm going to watch this as soon. I watch that as soon as we're done with this because that's anything Orange Cassidy is right up my alley. I think he's fantastic. I think he's brilliant. I think the gimmick is hysterical. So yeah, and I thought the match was really good too.
Yeah.
I liked the Super Smash Brothers or the Dark Order as they're being called now.
Yes. I'll say this: the ladder match I thought was the match of the night.
Yeah, there were a couple spots there where I was just like, ow, like I got very afraid for, I'm gonna call it the Bubba and Matt Hardy bump.
Yes, the one where I always get the Bucks
Nick.
confused.
Nick, the blonde.
Yes, where his foot got like caught on the top rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked really scary.
I've always called that the Bubba ladder bump, like if I'm talking to my friend, or the Bubba and Matt bump. But yeah, that was scary, bro. Like, cause he looked like his face lawn darted through the table, and I didn't know if he had done one of the Spike Dudleys. Remember that time? I think it was La Resistance was supposed to throw him over the rope through the tables, and they missed, and just the back of his head caught the table.
Oh, that was awful.
I only know this because I followed this group on Facebook, and they were doing like the 31 days of Splat. So it was every day they post a video of like a horrible bump in wrestling, whether it be like that Brian Kendrick backflip from the Royal Rumble. I mean, that Paul London. But yeah, the 30th day was to the king of Splat was Spike Dudley. And that was the one. That was the last one that they showed when he got like kind of choke slam, like double choke slam out of the ring, and they missed the table completely.
Dude, that bump scared me because it looked like it could have ended up being really bad.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ! I hope he starts moving. Like I was like, that legitimately got me afraid for his health.
Because if my memory serves me correct, when they showed him, he had cut up his wrist or his arm or something,
or his hand. Yeah.
Something on his arm somewhere where he was bleeding.
The only thing that I didn't completely flip out about over that is the fact that it wasn't crimson red, which means it wasn't deep.
Yes, and the other bump that really made me cringe was at the end when Matt took the package pile driver combo kick to the head.
Yeah, the other one, that one was the fucking Canadian Destroyer off the ladder was sick.
Yes.
And then the other Matt bump was after he pulled off Pentagon's mask. He's up on the ladder, and Phoenix tries to get involved. Matt pushes him off, and then Pentagon, still without his mask on, covering his face, pushes the ladder over as Matt's struggling to grab the titles. But when he falls, he lands right on the hinges.
Oh, yeah, that was a nasty one.
That was more like, ow, that had to fucking hurt. Like, that wasn't one where I was like, oh my god, he may be really injured, but I was like, oh, he, like, that could have hurt him just because of how he landed. It's thin metal, but that wasn't like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm worried about his lifetime health. That was more like, ow, that fucking, like, he's gonna be sore there tomorrow.
Yeah, because he landed, like, super awkwardly.
Yeah. Yeah, and them fucking hinges are no joke either. And it's just, he looked like he caught it rib first. Because, yeah, if you could take that and land on your fucking butt or something, or your hip, it may not be as bad. But, man, to land on them steel hinges on your hip, on your rib cage, not friendly.
The other thing I really liked about this match that makes it different from WWE, and this was just a subtle little thing I noticed, when they were getting on the ladder, they didn't do the cell where it takes them 100 years to climb up the ladder. They just went up and tried to grab that shit.
Yeah, when the ladder was used, they weren't looking to get the drama off the climb of the ladder. I agree fully, yeah. They were always stopped early enough that it didn't get into over dramatic. Like, maybe towards the end, when it seemed more probable that somebody could be injured, but it was not a spot where they needed to be cut off. So I know what you mean. It wasn't like where they had to go slow to get cut off. If they were going slow, it was just because that they were selling up to that point, and they weren't waiting to be cut off. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And then when I can't call him LAX anymore, but when Santana and Ortiz came out, I popped for that.
Yeah, did you actually hear Tony Khan's response to that?
No.
Because I will always watch the Tony Khan post scrum, because I think he's a really good guy. I can listen to him talk a lot, and he's such a fan. But somebody was like, so LAX debuted tonight. Are they going to be going through, are they going to be going forward known as LAX? Or are they going to be Ortiz and Santana? And Tony Khan, when he responded, he goes, so, yeah, tonight Ortiz and Santana debuted. And he just gave him a look. Like, he didn't acknowledge the LAX name. He's like, yeah, so, well, tonight Santana and Ortiz debuted. Like, completely ignoring the LAX part of it.
Because Impact owns it.
Yes, exactly. And I guess people don't necessarily know that. And it's okay for a reporter to ask about it, but it's the reporter's asking a question. For Tony Khan to say that, they can actually say, well, the owner of AEW is now using the LAX name to promote his brand. Me or you can go, hey, how about LAX? Because we're in the fucking nobodies.
Exactly.
We're not in a position that us saying LAX could be deemed in some kind of like business manner. So.
Oh yeah, I always thought they were going to either go by Santana and Ortiz, or they were going to go by their old independent name before they became LAX.
They're apparently going. They're apparently been named.
Interesting.
It was. No, I don't know. It was like alliteration with both letters, with both words with the same letter.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say like, no, because that can't be it, and I don't want to even say because it sounds so ridiculous.
It's all good. We'll just keep it rolling. I want to get to the main event.
I was so unimpressed with both of them.
It was just like, I guess the proper word I could use is meh.
Well, if man was a word, but yeah, it was very WWE main event like.
And for as good as that female referee has been, because I think she's been one of the better referees they have there, it was so obvious that she was handing Jericho a blade.
Yeah, but that could also be Jericho was also not very good at handing it off or taking it.
That too.
I mean, they probably, first of all, she became the first woman to ever ref a world title match, and she did it on the inaugural show. So they put her in a position. I don't know too many women referees involved in matches where guys are fucking juicing.
That's fair.
So it may just be a new concept, because I don't know how many new referees out there that are not working in because most companies now, unless you're like a deathmatch company, they're trying to stay away from blood. It's a big insurance thing now. It's like if you have blood, the fucking state athletic commission can come down very hard on you.
Yeah, depending on what state you're in.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be fine. So it's like if you got shitty, or it's a small wrestling company on the side, they can't afford the same fine that WWE would get or that the NBA would get, because it doesn't get reduced down because you're a fucking company that has 30 fans.
No, I understand. I will say this because I thought of you when I saw it. Jericho actually hit his finisher much better this time than he did against Omega.
It's still a stupid looking fucking move. I mean, it's people clown on that shit so much. Like, there's nobody I've heard that's like, man, that looks like such a good move.
No, I just noticed, I was like, well, at least he hit it a lot cleaner, that it looked at least decent.
Yeah, it felt like a WWE main event. Like, it felt like I was watching, like, at the end of it, I was just like, can we just get a winner? Like, I don't feel like there was a good story told.
Honestly, and I hate saying this, it reminded me of, like, old school WCW.
Yeah, and I think I don't think as many people are on board the Adam Page train as maybe people thought.
I don't want to say I dislike the man, but I'm not, like, when I hear his music or something, I'm not stopping what I'm doing to come out and watch.
That's a very fair assessment, because I'm in that exact same boat. Like, I mean, and it's even when I'm watching, I'm not necessarily glued to what I'm seeing.
I don't understand the hype for him, frankly.
I think he's somebody who just got big through his connection with being the Elite.
That's very, very possible. Did you see Jericho's, like, post-match thing with himself where he's, like, carrying around the microphone?
Yeah, isn't that where a little bit of bubbly comes from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where, like, he walks all the way through the back.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the whole thing. Yeah, I thought it was great. Hey, librarian, you gonna shush me?
Yeah, go to
idiot.
hell.
Oh, yeah, go to hell. Yeah, yeah.
Or he's like, Scorpio Sky, you want a shot at this title? Too bad, you're never gonna see it.
And then it's funny, because if you watch, I think it was the Being the Elite that came out. Yeah, Being the Elite that came out this past Monday. It was backstage at All Out. Is what it was called. You actually see Brandon Cutler's angle of it, because if you remember watching it, Brandon Cutler was behind him and to the left of him the entire time filming. He was filming for Being the Elite. So you actually see it from Jericho's point of view, because Cutler was behind him. So you see Scorpio Sky standing there. You see Peter Avalon standing there.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, I've been watching that more now that I actually give a fuck, because it's very behind the scenes of AEW and how a company works and stuff like that. But yeah, all in all, I thought the show was great. They made the right choice with who they're going to have as the champion. He is the one that has the highest name recognition in the entire company. With old school fans that they're trying to get back. So I guess they're hoping that somebody who hasn't watched in a couple of years will know Chris Jericho's name.
I was going to say that, and what I told somebody last night. You cannot build main event stars overnight.
No, and you need established stars for your new stars to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who doesn't know who Kenny Omega is, somebody beating Kenny Omega doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, not like us that, I remember watching him wrestle live at New Jersey All Pro in, like, 2007.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's us because we live in this area, so we're a little bit more familiar with him. But it's the typical wrestling fan may not know who Kenny Omega is.
Oh,
I mean, I got friends of mine that are fucking diehard WWE fans. They couldn't tell you shit about Kenny Omega.
It's just, I don't want to say they're closed off, but, like, sometimes they just don't know.
Yeah, they don't know what they don't know. They're WWE fans, not necessarily wrestling fans, because they don't have access to other wrestling.
Yes. Real quick, and then we'll get on to a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Did you see that AEW actually announced their main event for their next pay-per-view?
Yes, and this better be where fucking Cody loses.
I was originally, when I first saw it, my thought was, this is where they're going to have MJF turn on him.
Oh, that's very possible. That's very, very possible.
I was like, that would be a really good way to, I don't want to say get out of it, but you know what I mean.
Now, that's going to be after Jericho has his tag team partners, right?
Yes, because they're doing a old school WWF thing, because their next pay-per-view is Thanksgiving Eve night.
Is that their next pay-per-view, or is that just a taping?
I don't
That's
know.
just because it's Wednesday. That's just a taping.
Oh, I take it back then. It's hang on, I gotta look at the date. I'll tell you. Or the calendar.
It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the next pay-per-view is the 9th. I'm sorry, November 9th.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have a pay-per-view on Wednesday, and if it's the night before Thanksgiving, it's Wednesday.
But that was my initial thought about that. I was like, well, they could have MJF turn on Cody, and that's how he could lose.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Have to wait and see.
Did you see Royal Quest or NXT UK?
I did not.
I didn't see Royal Quest. NXT UK, though, I saw a lot of it. It was a really good pay-per-view. I mean, some people had compared it, said it was better than All Out. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, it was a good NXT show, very UK style, which is automatically going to bring you good matches. You know, it's the UK style is so much more entertaining than the WWE style for people who like the athleticism part of it.
Yeah, especially I heard rave reviews of Walter and Pete Dunne.
Walter and Tyler Bate.
Or that's what I meant to say, excuse me.
Yeah, Tony Storm dropped the title after like 270 something days to Kaylee Ray.
Oh, wow.
I
heard they broke the ring.
Bro, that was like, shoot, I think it was the first match of the night. It was Mastiff. Do you know who?
Yeah, Dave Mastiff.
And it was Joe Coffey. You know who Joe Coffey is?
Yeah, I saw the clip.
Bro, let me, because I watched the whole match. That was in the very beginning. Like, that was within the first couple of minutes of the match, and that wasn't like a spot. Like, that wasn't a normal, like, WWE break the ring spot. Like, that was an Irish whip that the
he just
turnbuckle
threw him too
thing
damn
broke.
hard and the whole thing exploded.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the part that I don't know if it's the actual turnbuckle part, which is the hook part that hooks onto the eyelet. You know, like when I'm talking about I don't know what part failed. What I think it may have been is they attached with a cotter pin. Do you know what a cotter pin is?
Yes.
And I think that's what it is, because it goes through a C-clamp, like one of them small C-clamps, and I think the cotter pin goes through the clamp and it goes through the hole that's on the ring post. I think he hit it so hard that the cotter pin ejected.
Interesting.
Therefore, that whole turnbuckle part, because the turnbuckle part, at the end of it, is where it has that C-clamp part, and that whole thing bolts in, and I think that's what happened. I think he hit it so hard that the bolt just dislodged.
Interesting. There's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. One major thing happened on Raw this week that I personally didn't see coming was the Bayley heel turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it to a degree. If they're going to keep her, like, I saw on SmackDown, they kept her with the same music, the same gimmick, the same fucking ponytail hair. Like, look at what NXT did with Io Shirai. She came out to a very, very Japanese, like, J-pop, anime kind of sounding theme, turned her heel, and the next week she came out with a new theme, new entrance, new look, new clothing, new hair. So I mean, it's like, how are you gonna have heel Bayley still coming out being the hugger,
I
being?
Not to cut you off. I
No, go ahead.
personally, when she came out, like the next time after that happened on SmackDown, with those the flailing people, that shoot up in the air.
Yeah.
That I would have had her destroy them.
It's, there's a very narrow path that I see that they can walk where they can still preserve what they're doing. And I don't want to say, I mean, they began going down the road, because I absolutely loved the promo she cut. She cut the biggest babyface promo, while like in the most baby-faced way, but everything she said was like, she's talking about being loyal to an evil person. But she's right. She's teaching people about loyalty. You don't let other people decide, what about your friends. Like, you stick to your friends.
It's very interesting, I'll say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, apparently her, Sasha, and I forget who the third person were, but there were 3 people this week who apparently were just given bullet points and not actual promos. I believe it was her, Sasha. I just read this, and fuck. Because, and I mean on top of KO, because these are people on Raw who had that thing. But yeah, that would make sense because the promos were good.
Right. Speaking of good promos, we got a new episode of the Firefly Funhouse this week.
Yeah. I just think he's gold. I think everything he does is absolute gold. So, I mean,
I popped for the thing with Vince where he's about to
money?
Say you're fired, and then he's like, wait, and he brings out the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great. I see people are very divided over the idea that he could be handed the title so soon. I'm on the fence because I see the merits of the people who say it's too soon. Because what are you going to do at that point once he has the title?
I agree. I'm kind of torn, but I'll say this. If they're going to... How do I want to say this? If they're going to strike while the iron is hot, so to speak, I'm kind of okay with that. Because a lot of times they'll usually wait too long and then pull the trigger. You know what I mean?
No, I'm going to absolutely disagree in this situation. I think they have a propensity to. I mean, yes, they wait too long, but I think they also have a propensity for ruining things by doing things way too soon.
No, that I agree with too.
And so much can be done with this character that he doesn't need to be near the main event yet. He doesn't need that. He's already the highlight for people. He doesn't need the belt. Like, you can do all of this without the belt. You can make him relevant without the belt. Because right now, he's still a kooky character to people.
Yeah.
Like, if they would have given The Undertaker the belt immediately, people would have been like, you're giving it to an undead guy? Like, are you serious? Like, because they tried to make him something in the beginning, but he was still a brand new guy.
I remember they gave him, it was about a year in, he got the title for like 2 days, and then he lost it.
Yeah, at Tuesday in Texas. Because he won it he won it 1 year after he debuted. Because he debuted at Survivor Series, and the next year won it at Survivor Series, only to lose it, like you said, 2 days later in Tuesday in Texas.
And then he never won it back until 97.
Yeah, I mean, so it's I don't think he needs it right now. I think they need to work with the character more right now. I think he should be something that pops up for the big four. I don't know if he really needs to be on TV all the time. I really don't.
You talked about this last week, and I thought about it when I was watching this promo. Remember how you said you've seen when Bray uses the hurt with the gloves, but you haven't seen him use the heel yet?
Yes.
I was thinking about this because I'm watching the promo, and he shows everybody in the funhouse, and then you see the rabbit like jump up with a sign that says like "Help me" or something,
Help, yeah, and he
and
just
you see
grabs
him
him.
like push him back down. Well, my original thought was when after I saw that, I was like, well, maybe that's how you can use the heel glove, where you try to like heal him of trying to rat out Bray about what they're really doing.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be a little bit more important.
I know it was just
Like,
a thought, you know what I mean?
yeah, I want to see how they incorporate that into the ring because it's part of his ring gear, and he's already listened to his hurt in the ring. It wouldn't make sense for there not to be a counter of some sort because I don't know if that's a equal trade off. It's the
No, I understand.
because the second they get rid of Firefly Funhouse, or stop doing, because eventually that's gonna have a shelf life. I don't know. Do you ever put Bray Wyatt out on TV as not the Fiend? Other than do you ever put him out in front of a live crowd as Bray?
I don't know.
Because I think that could add longevity to it. Like he goes through periods where he's just Bray Wyatt, and he's just in some way, shape, or form you get him on TV without him having to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like you could extend the whole entire program between him and other people with him either doing the Firefly Funhouse or doing stuff where he comes in and he's just like, I'm real sorry. And then like some weeks he's completely like that and some weeks he's kind of both, kind of like what they did with Joseph Park.
Yeah, that could work.
But it's like I don't think that he should be wrestling all the time.
No, he should be like what's the word I want to use?
Special
like
attraction. Yeah. That's why I don't think he needs the title right now. I just don't think he needs it. He has legitimacy by himself.
Like Little Man told me, he's heard me say it before. I said, you got to make him special.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the thing is, you already have something that is very unique that could be special. I mean, like anybody could be special, but it's this is very, very like you have a special opportunity with a special talent in a special character. Like,
oh yeah,
yes.
like it's how do I want to say, like a once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Yeah, like this is the stars lining up for something awesome.
Oh, I agree with you.
I'm okay with Hell in a Cell if it's not for the title. Because you can't have him lose.
Well, he didn't, because he didn't even directly say that he wanted to fight them for the title. All he was just basically talking about how they're bad, like, partners and how they cost him something in a previous life.
Yeah, but WWE has had things where it's, I think it was advertisements before they had him address it on TV. Like, there's a reason they had him address it on TV. It's because those rumors were going around before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had gone around that they were considering him versus one of the two, and it wouldn't make sense for me to be pushing that now if it wasn't going to be for the title. Right. Like, because they're posting a lot about it.
Yeah, because the guy's only had one match as the character.
Yeah. And I don't see the storyline there, especially with them pre-announcing it like this.
Oh, no, I agree with you.
If you wanted him to go away for a little bit and all of a sudden maybe come back at Survivor Series, like after, like have Seth hold it till then, and then just finish off like a feud, say like he just polishes off the feud with Braun, like he finally beats Braun. It seems like, what's he going to do next? And just at the very end, the Fiend comes out and he, puts out Seth. But after not being around for a while, just, popping up here and there, but with no mention of Seth, just as the program's going off the air, just as like that little symbol pops up in the corner, just have the fucking lights go out and the Fiend appear.
That would be awesome.
I mean, like, to me, like, at least, because now it feels like you're throwing him in there, like, who's he gonna face? We're a month away. It's, you fucking dilute it by talking about it for so long. So, I mean, if you were going to thrust him into the main event, you do it that way. Not this long, drawn-out bullshit that gives people a chance to think about whether or not they like it or not.
No, I'm on board with you.
But, yeah.
A couple other things I want to bring up before we get out of here. We talked about it briefly off air. The Ric Flair saga with WWE right now.
Yeah, what's your opinion on it?
I'm with you in the fact that Ric Flair, to my knowledge, has had to be the man, you got to beat the man, or some version thereof, trademarked for what, like 25 years?
Yeah, I believe since about the 90s. Now, the funny thing with how trademarks work, just because he has that saying, he may not, because he just applied for the actual term "the man" in used for wrestling, because he may have the term to beat the man. I mean, to be the man, you got to beat the man, but that just may be a saying for use in merchandise, not specifically for the use in wrestling.
Yeah, he might. He might lose on a technicality.
No, it's not a technicality. It's two completely separate things. They're two completely separate licenses, and Cody Rhodes said that he found out the hard way because when they were doing applications for the use for the belt for things, he hadn't used it for secondary stuff. He hadn't applied for like use in video games or use in action figures or the likeness to be used for anything else. So technically, if somebody else had gotten the likeness and filed for use for like apparel and stuff, somebody else would have had the license to use the trademark to use the AEW logo and stuff on merchandise, stuff that Cody hadn't secured. Because you have to apply for multiple kinds of uses.
Interesting.
That's how people usually get a beat on what WWE is doing in the future, like with Shorty G. It was to be used for wrestling, a wrestling character, merchandise, and a couple other things. But that was just because you have the name Shorty G, you now have to say what you want to do with it.
Right.
So, like, but yeah, apparently that's gotten Charlotte very mad at him.
And a lot of other WWE wrestlers have apparently unfollowed him on social media.
I mean, I don't know what the whole story is. He claims that after he nearly died 2 years ago, it really scared him, and he wants to leave his wife and his family as much as he possibly can. And he feels that the term "the man" was created and coined and made famous by him, and he feels he's entitled. Now, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I don't know if when people say "I'm the man," like, non-wrestling fans are saying "I'm the man," if that's actually has anything to do with Ric Flair and it was just turned into common speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people use the word SmackDown now that have never watched wrestling.
Yeah, like, and they I don't think they would know the connotation.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just using it in normal, normal conversation.
Yeah, so I don't know if the man, like, hey, bro, you're the man. I don't know if that actually does come from Ric Flair or if that's other common speak that it comes from. If that predates Ric Flair, because if that term really does originate with Ric Flair, like the term being the man being something important, then yeah, he should be paid.
Oh, absolutely.
But if that's something, if that term's been around since like the 50s and stuff, then I'm sorry, Rick.
Yeah.
But that's for court to decide.
That's what I was gonna say. If he wants to get like that, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember directly, but he's not the first Nature Boy, so.
yeah, but yeah, I don't think he's ever filed trademark for that though.
Yeah. I mean, you could get into a lot of shit like that, but last thing I wanted to talk about was I don't know if you saw this. A couple of Ring of Honor's big stars, their contracts are getting ready to run out.
I think the only one I heard was Matt Taven.
His is coming up, I believe, sometime this month. And then
Oh, Marty's
Marty's
November.
girl is in November.
Yeah, I think the unanimous consensus is he's going to AEW. Like, I don't think there's any like two ways about it. I mean, if Marco's stunt level guys are making as much as NXT guys on TV, then there's no way Marty is going to be going anywhere, because Marty's vastly above Marco's stunt, which means he may be making close to main roster money.
Yeah, I think it would be in his best interest to go there.
Oh, I think it'd be in everybody's. I mean, it'll be in his career's best interest, in his personal best interest, in the fans' best interest, who want to see Marty continue being Marty and not become like whatever WWE would fucking label him. Skippy McPippy Longstocking, because he's English. We're gonna call you Skippy McPippy now, and you're gonna come to the ring and fucking frolic
I'll say this:
and drink tea.
when he leaves Ring of Honor, I mean, they're already in trouble, but
Oh, they're awful. Yeah, they're in bad shape.
they're in real big trouble, I think.
Bro, when I went to that show in Oregon, I was like, yo, what the fuck happened to this company?
It's amazing how, I guess I want to say, they didn't prepare for the elite to leave, you know?
But that's got to be more than just the elite, though. I mean, like, there's nobody. Like, I mean, WWE fucking ate up everybody.
Yeah, there's only like a couple people I would actually sit and watch for their television right now.
Yeah, and the product really isn't that great.
Like, I like watching PCO. I think he's a really cool dude.
Yeah, bro, but what the fuck was up with that thing where he dove to the wrong side and busted his whole fucking face open, bro?
Oh,
Like,
he does the whole gimmick. His gimmick now is he's like the...
stupid?
Yeah.
There's just no excuse for that, bro, to go fucking, like, I don't know.
What, I forget what he calls himself, like the
Frankenstein?
yeah, like something like that. And basically, he was doing like where he short circuited and dived out onto the opposite side of the ring and fucked himself up.
Like, that's stupid. Like,
It was a nasty gash too.
yeah, I just like, bro, you got a second chance. You don't got to do all this stupid retarded shit. Like,
Dude,
people
I
so
saw him wrestle. This is before he got signed by Ring of Honor, and I told Brian Cage this when I saw him a while back. He wrestled Brian Cage for, I don't know if you know who Beyond Wrestling is,
I've heard of it, yeah.
Massachusetts. Well, they had their big show, and he did a moonsault outside and about damn near killed himself landing on Cage. And I was like, Brian, I was like, what the hell was up with that moonsault? He's like, dude, that guy's insane.
That's funny.
It was just wild, man. But before we get out of here, what are you up to this weekend?
I don't really know. I don't know what kind of weather it's going to be, so.
To be determined.
Yeah, the last week, a friend of mine and I we played a lot of Grand Theft Auto this week because they had an event where certain things were worth double money, and we're in a position that we really can make some decent money. And the highest I had ever earned by myself, like, and I've had in the bank at one time, had been like $4.5 million. I'm sitting at 12,932,881 as we speak.
Nice.
Because this week was so profitable. Like, I don't even know what there's nothing in the game that costs $12 million.
Nice.
So I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna purchase with that.
I'm sure you'll find something.
Yep, money don't go bad. I'm gonna sit on this. Me and my buddy are doing pretty well. I think we have like $25 million between us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so how about you? Well, what are you up to?
Buddy of mine's coming over on Sunday, and it's the first Sunday of the NFL, so we're going to sit back and eat and enjoy.
Yeah, I think I'm actually facing you the first week in one of the leagues.
Yes,
and now
you
I'm
are.
fucking, and then John Morgan. I hate that man. I'm actually glad that that the that second league, the ASC league,
Yeah.
is the carryover from last year. I kind of wish we would have done keepers and stuff like that, but it was last minute. Plus, we got my buddies in there. That's the Show Me Your TDs.
Yes.
That's one of my best friends. That's Brandon. That's the one that I'm always telling you about. So,
Okay. Cool.
hopefully from here on out, we could be a keeper league, and like I'll definitely take care of it. But I felt like shit thinking that I missed that draft. I didn't realize he had started yet another new one.
It's all good. Everything got worked out.
Yep. But all right, brother.
All right, on that note, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we'll see you back next week. Have a good day, everybody.